Professor Andre Duvenhage. He is an academic and political analyst based at the University of Northwest. We, he's here to talk to us about the bill for the expropriation of land. I understand, I've actually got two documents. The one is suggesting that the expropriation of land bill has been published in the National Gazette for comment. Interestingly, it was done with no announcement. This is what the report is saying. It's been done quietly just before Christmas. It also further goes on to say, please put this communique out as far and widely as you can to ensure maximum reach and awareness. On the other hand, there's another communique which is suggesting that regarding the expropriation bill, just under 100,000 active citizens have made comments regarding the bill is concerned. So I don't know if that is a strong enough number as far as expropriation of land without compensation is concerned or not. Let's see what Professor Duvenhage has to say about this issue, and let's look at the type of land that is earmarked for expropriation. I reckon we city dwellers, people in the urban areas, I hope, are not in the firing line or targeted as far as this is concerned. Things could change over time. I'm also wondering for people with multiple properties, also in urban areas, would they at some time be targeted as well? Let's try and unpack all of that and try and map a way forward. A very good morning to you, Professor Andre Duvenhage. And as I've said, there were calls for public comment on the expropriation bill. People are kind of getting the sense that government hasn't been playing it straight, and they pushed this through in the National Gazette just before Christmas time. Your thoughts on the issue?
A number of things. That is only on the meta level, not discussing the topic as such. But there are questions about the way the government dealt with the situation, the whole procedures followed, the reaction. And despite all the reactions and everything that were presented in this regard, the government seems to just go on their line, ticking the boxes and just continuing despite the comments made. So people are not that positive in making comments about it. That's the first point. Secondly, there are provisions available within the existing constitution for expropriation of land. But the problem is the country would like to, or the government would like to expropriate without compensation, the so-called zero value fee. And that is going against the grain and one of the basic conditions for the establishment of the 1996 Constitution. And this will have far-reaching implications for South Africa and for investments to the country and for our whole economy. So to me, there's real dangers. I know there were already about 17 or 18 changes to the Constitution. By this one is by far the most fundamental one, and economically speaking, the most dangerous one. Also one that can be very, very dangerous in terms of conflict and the potential for conflict. The problem of the ANC, however, is that they set this as a goal at their 2017 conference, and they are holding Mr. Ramaphosa for him to execute this in some way. And we have a national conference coming up, so there's a lot of momentum to get this through the system, done and dusted, before the national conference of the ANC towards the end of the year.
Okay, I understand that there are 5 kinds of property that the new Expropriation Bill says could be subject to expropriation without compensation. Let's just run down, unpack those and see what sort of impacts we're looking at. Firstly, being farms with labor tenants, or perhaps just portion of such farms. So the thinking is that if the land is occupied or used by a labor tenant, obviously, or people who had right to cropping or grazing on that farm. Let's look at the implications in that scenario.
Well, the implications of the owner of land, and you can lose it by giving people access and use it in an extensive way, because we are a country that doesn't have huge rainfall, and this presents a lot of major challenges. That's on the basis of ownership, and that is the main problem. And if you touch on ownership, who is going to take responsibility? Who is going to invest? And you must take into consideration only about a small percentage of South African land is in a situation that is ready for small-scale farming. In fact, the economy of scale is producing a scenario where we really need to work with bigger units rather than smaller units, and extensive farming is the norm rather than the exception to the norm.
And then there's also the issue around abandoned property. Just coming back to the issue around the labor tenants, they probably second and third generation labor tenants on that land. Do you not think in this situation, I'm not for expropriation without compensation, but I'm just wondering in this particular scenario, wouldn't it be fair to give them the land? Because they've been tenants on that land for generations, maybe 3 or 4 generations.
Well, it depends on who's the owner of that land. Is the owner of the land the state? Because I think about 30% of all land is more or less the state ownership, and a lot of these lands are very ineffectively used. But if we touch on private property, private ownership, then we really have a problem. So it may differ from one scenario to the next. We need to be specific in this regard.
All right, let's look at the situation regarding abandoned property. It is said that zero compensation could be fair where the owner of the land has abandoned the land. The draft law does hold that could happen. However, it doesn't specifically refer to hijacked buildings in the CBD. Legal experts are arguing that such buildings... All right, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. No, Professor, the line is very, very bad. Let's take a break. I'm going to ask my producer to get you on another line, if you don't mind. It's a very important conversation. I'd like to have this conversation with you. We'll call you back in a minute or two. Please stand by. The time is exactly 9:25. We are talking with Professor Andre Duvenhage about the Land Expropriation Bill. Land expropriation without compensation, of course, is at the heart of the matter. So let's see if we can get him on another line.
These days, I'm more health conscious than ever. So tonight, it's stir fry for dinner, cooked in healthy Helios pure sunflower cooking oil. Helios is pure sunflower goodness, packed with omega-6. That's good for your heart, and is approved as part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation eating plan.
Dinner's ready!
Helios, pure sunflower cooking oil. A healthy family is a happy one.
Alhamdulillah, we are finally free of riba. Birkut smells lovely.
Yeah, with Yakina, I managed to stop all the riba, Hajo. This insurance price is going up again.
Oh, we are not free of riba, Babu. You need to stop the insurance.
We have to have insurance, Hajo. You know how bad it is with all the crime and the accidents.
Have a little yakin now, Babu.
Yeah, man, I do have a little yakin. But I wish there was a way to leave all these riba insurance companies, man. It's my riba.
Babu, I can't handle this. The stench. It stinks.
Is that my underarms?
No, the riba stinks. Please find a way to stop this riba insurance, Babu.
Leaving Riba Insurance is easier than you'd think. Call Amana IFS for all your personal and commercial takaful needs. 0861 786 393. Amana, leave Riba for good. Amana IFS is a registered financial services provider.
Where in this dunya am I going to find a scarf to match my outfit? Only at Al Shazia, the scarf specialists. Enjoy a better shopping experience at our brand new premises. Bigger store, bigger ranges, best quality, excellent service, same friendly faces, ample parking. Al Shazia, now at 130 Brickfield Road, U and G Building, Overport, Durban. Grand opening on Friday, 17th December at 2 p.m. inshallah. Al Shazia, the scarf specialists.
Hunger ratios in South Africa are on an upward trajectory since the beginning of COVID-19. Over 23% of South African households experienced hunger last summer. At SANZAF, we aim to ease the hunger struggles of those in need by providing freshly prepared meals daily. You can be part of this by donating towards the SANZAF Meals Project. Visit sanzaf.org.za or call us on 011 834 6046. SANZAF, changing lives through development and relief.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world, where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain developing company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Welcome back. It is 9:29 exactly. This is News and Views right here on Salam Media. We are talking with Professor Andre Duvenhage. We're talking about land expropriation without compensation. There are 5 kinds of property that the new expropriation bill says could be subject to expropriation without compensation. Now, we've covered just the one point, and there are 4 equally important types of property that we need to look at. But Professor has run out of time, and I'll just ask him one more question, and perhaps you can reschedule this interview for another time. So, Professor, let's understand abandoned property. The draft is suggesting that zero compensation could be fair where the owner of the land has abandoned the land. But this does not refer to hijacked buildings in the CBD. However, legal experts have previously speculated that such buildings would be very easy targets for expropriation without compensation. Your thoughts?
Well, to start with, you need to analyze every specific context. Why is a specific area abandoned. Maybe there's such an amount of criminality going on. The police is not providing order, stability, and security. And as a result of that, people have left the land. That is not that they just abandoned the land. There were certain circumstances to it. And I think every situation needs to be assessed on its own merit. And I will go that way. In today's world, it is not just to find a place that is abandoned, that you can just take over and make a living from. It's not working in that terms in a very competitive economic environment. So to me, there were reasons why people are abandoning certain environments. And if we can address the reasons, maybe it can be made viable. But I know in certain farm areas close to township areas, people are experiencing problems. And if this touch on private ownership, I think it is a bad day if the state for which we pay taxes cannot provide the necessary order, stability, and security.
So in that situation, your suggestion then would be to the state, take back the land, but at least compensate the owner of the land, because he abandoned the land for some serious reasons.
Compensating, you must compensate people for what they own. That is in line with international practice, international law. Even Zimbabwe, the ZANU-PF, recognized that they must refund the land they were taken from farmers a time ago. Problem, they do not have money, but they recognize that reality. And if we want to destroy our economy and the basis of our economy, we must go into this environment of expropriation without compensation. This is a real danger for the well-being of all South Africans. In fact, the tendency at the moment is that the state is losing control and losing power, and that we are getting more of a parallel state developing, which is the opposite for all the reasons in terms of expropriation without compensation.
Okay, my final question to you, because I do know that you are pressed for time. I'll just ask you one more question, which is still a question related to question number 2, and that is the issue around hijacked buildings in the CBD, where you find that you have scores of squatters going in, occupying the buildings. The owner of the building can't even get rentals out of these people. The buildings have become dilapidated over time because no maintenance is happening. There's no income to maintain the buildings. And government is, they're not saying it yet, but other legal experts are suggesting that those buildings would be next in line for expropriation without compensation.
Again, that's a problem of the state. The state is not providing us with order, stability, and security. You are paying taxes. People are occupying your land or your building illegally, and the state is not taking action and then want to take it away because they believe you have lost interest. It is a problem of the state and not a problem of the private owner. So I think the same is applicable to this, and it will be a bad day if the state cannot secure order and provide security for investments and for the economy to be driven in a safe and secure environment. Unfortunately, Miss, I have to meet someone.
I do know that.
And I have
I do
to
know.
leave.
Thank you indeed for your time. Thank you very, very much. Till the next time, go well. Thank you indeed. That was Professor Andre Duvenhage. Pardon. Yes, it is Professor Andre Duvenhage from Northwest University talking to us about expropriation of land without compensation. There are a few other points to be covered, and I think it's an important conversation. Let's see if we can talk to someone else tomorrow to cover this issue, and so that we can get clarity on how the government and citizens move forward on this matter. 9:36 exactly. This is News and Views on Salam Media.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's